Technical difficulties already.
Stop hitting the thumb button. Stop hitting the thumb button.
4, 3, 2, are you ready?
Welcome to the Real Estate Reserve podcast, the #1 real estate investing podcast in the whole wide world. Today, we are in Ian's office with the Harris family. We're going to introduce them in a second. We're recapping day one of the LFG Mastermind. So let's fucking go. Ian, what happened on day one today?
Well, I found these two fools to the right of me, but dude, it's been a crazy ass day. We've had a lot of people in and out. We got 25 real estate investors from all throughout the country. New Mexico, Iowa, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, east and west of Pennsylvania, big state, Illinois. Where else are we missing? Chattanooga, Tennessee, Baltimore, Maryland. Dude, it's been a wild group of people, and a ton of great information's been shared. And we can go through the rundown, but I think it's important that you share who we have to the right of us right now. And I'm going to check Facebook to make sure this thing is actually producing what it's supposed to be producing.
Let's do it. We got a makeshift setup, as you can see, if you're just tuning in. Thanks. We got audio. We got audio. That's good. So last night, Ian kicked off his LFG Mastermind as a good host, and he brought, how many people did you bring to that Caps game? 30 something?
It was 28 people came down to the Caps game with us. We got a suite. A lot of these times when you go to masterminds, it's really about having people break down the barriers so they can be transparent in the room. So we decided to do a suite, and it wound up being what I believe, and Jimmy can comment, a great decision. I mean, it was, first off, most people don't get to sit in a suite. That's the first time, honestly, I've ever sat in a suite for a hockey game, and I love hockey. I'm not a Caps fan, but I think the experience overall, they were great seats, great view. The food was actually relatively good. Everything was good until she brought us Bud Heavies instead of Bud Lights.
What happened to the rest of those Skullbusters? Those Bud Heavies? Did you just leave them there?
I don't know. That I don't know. It was a long bus ride back. I can tell you that.
Did you guys try to bring them on the bus?
I don't know. I'm sure someone did. Is that too close to you?
They're weird about leaving with alcohol from there.
Yeah.
So your plan was you had about 30 seats. There was a few extra stragglers, including myself, who happened to be at the game, including Magner and some other people. We were able to get into the suite, no problem. So, but it was a good icebreaker. We
literally, get it?
Yeah, it was a good icebreaker. So since Jimmy and I live close together, we all Ubered together with my business partner Chris. And then he returned the favor tonight.
It's my turn to be the Uber, baby.
That's why he's got a drink in his hands.
Exactly. You're not supposed to see this. This is ginger ale.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we came up to the office and Ian had this nice little bottle right here. If we can zoom in.
We can't zoom in because we're all sitting here.
Of Johnny Walker Blue. So right away we're like, you know what? We should probably open this up. This is a good occasion to.
There's not many times I get
to drink it.
Yeah, there's not many times that I get to drink that because I don't have many people that want to hang out and drink.
So what? So let's talk to Jim Sr. first. What
is this your first podcast ever?
No, I've done other podcasts with the financial literacy. So
all right.
He's a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
First time caller. Okay.
He's a veteron. He's a veteran.
All right, so what are you doing, Belden?
All right, so what? Give me one big takeaway that you had from today.
Wow.
You're gonna walk right in front of that camera if you don't be careful. Hey, duck through here. There's some Johnny Walker Blue for you.
Oh, he's crawling on the floor now.
There we go. Hey, what's one good takeaway that you had?
I would think probably on the finances. They did a deep dive on the back shop of finances, which really we've been in business 20 years, and you always learn something. So you had the speakers were phenomenal. And just making the relationships and meeting new people that are so nice and they're just down to earth people, but also great business people. So this has been so far so good. It's been a great day and looking forward to tomorrow.
One approved.
Day one. I got one. I won a 25. One approval. So
one approval. Oh, we got some comments
Oh
already.
shit, Nick Paul, one of the
Oh,
attendees.
boy.
Spread the word. We're not gonna be late for dinner. We promise.
I
Yeah.
promise. I promise.
Save
Yeah.
us a seat.
Yeah. So I reached out to Ian earlier today because I was like, "Hey, I know you've gone through a lot with a lot of attendees. Try to provide as much value as possible." But we were all coming up close to his office, anyways, because they're all going out to dinner tonight. So we figured we'd just hop on and do a podcast.
Yep.
So I wasn't there, but what you just said related to a good takeaway is probably something I would have liked as well. What about you, Jimmy?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thanks to Ian. I mean, in all seriousness, I know we like to goof around and and cut up and have a good time, but the value that you bring, I don't think you truly realize it. And as a friend, as a business partner, all that good stuff, I really just want to say thanks.
You're on camera, right?
Yeah, well, that's what
I'm gonna have Rowena cut this up
Yeah,
like 15
that's why-
times, but
that's why
seriously,
he's
cheers,
lying.
brother.
Yeah, no, I mean
We
that.
should
cheers.
Cheers
to
for
everybody,
that.
yeah. But in all seriousness, I mean, it's I truly value our relationship. I value the value that you bring, and I think you underestimate that. The guys that you're able to put in a room and have true, genuine people show up and have transparency is phenomenal. So thank you for that, and I appreciate that, and I truly value that. But I mean, kind of to dovetail off of what my dad said, I mean, I think that you have a lot of high intellect people, but down to earth values. And I think that you couldn't ask for a better combination. When Jack got up and started talking about the economics of everything and the numbers, I mean, that's stuff I would never look into, to be perfectly honest with you. But, it resonates with you because it's the reality of the situation that we're in. So talking about, just the global situation, and then even digging down into day-to-day operational stuff on whether it be storage or single family or whatever, you got a mixture of guys in there, and I think everybody brings their own little perspective on things, and I think that is valuable, because even if you're in storage, you can learn a business concept from a guy that's doing single family stuff and vice versa. So I think it's powerful all the way around.
Yeah, and it's just always interesting to me. And it's like, you're feeling one thing, and then for someone to get up and say the same thing, it's like, wow, that confirmed that for me. Or one of the attendees are like, yo, dude, what do you think about this? I'm like, God damn, like I've been thinking that same thing. Like it makes so much sense. I'll tell you what, like one of the deepest conversations I thought we got into, obviously Terry got up there and shared really deep on what he's working on. And I thought it was interesting that we wound up discussing, not to take anything away from the speakers, because some of it's the speakers, some of it's the masterminding, but I was really floored about not floored, but I was really interested by the leadership conversation. And I guess maybe it's like, I'm trying to debrief this thing in real time on camera here right now, because of your dad served in the military. I was with the fire department. Like there, a good leader when you see it, right? And it was hard for me to convey, and I know what he's trying to search for. I could see when we were talking about it that Senior was like, yeah, dude, like, and I could see you processing it. But in the same sense, like leadership, it's just like a really interesting trait that you think, dude, there's 25 alpha males in this. I just happen to attract all males in here. You got 25 alpha males, and here's a guy talking about leadership and worried about it. I'm like, dude, we go out and kill every day. Like, what do you mean leadership? And I thought that was a really interesting conversation.
Well, what's he trying to find a CO, like a COO,
like an operations guy, like a guy to kind of step in
Yeah.
and run his. But I feel like the vulnerability that he opened himself
Right.
up for,
Yeah.
what speaks to that whole room, speaks to the whole LFG mastermind.
Yeah.
Guys aren't afraid to, I mean, I got on the hot seat. I got lit up for a little while today.
Oh yeah.
Somebody kind of led
Please
me
share.
right down that path.
Dude, I mean, Jimmy,
But-
look, come on, we'll share a little bit.
Here we
I
go.
mean,
Oh, boy.
we're gonna put it out. We're gonna put it.
Jay, fill me up. I'm gonna need more of this.
Okay, we're gonna put it out to the universe. Look, man, it's real simple. Jimmy has been transitioning from male to female. No, Jimmy's been transitioning from
No secret.
from single family new builds, which obviously is a tough market right now, over to more commercial assets. And I think we all do it. It's easier for me to make a bad decision with health than it is the harder decision to do the right thing. It's the same thing probably in your business. It's like, fuck it. I know new family builds and whatever. It's just what I know. And it's just like, yeah, there's money there and I'm just going to do it. And I know it was tough for you guys and, to watch you and your dad interact on it. I mean, I guess, have you had a chance to debrief kind of what we discussed and what you're working through, maybe not building the lots or maybe
Yeah.
going all in on a new asset class?
I mean, we have to some degree. I mean, it was a brief ride home and up here or whatever, and picking up Jay or whatever. But I think that we're absolutely of the mindset that that's the asset class that we want to go into.
Yeah.
I think we have a good jump start on it. I think that, I see what like you've done. I see what like Nick's done, who's on here right now, hopefully still watching us. And even Terry, guys like that. I mean, I was talking to somebody today. Somebody said when Terry started talking, I heard Shock, I think it was, said that like, oh, Terry's the biggest wholesaler or whatever. Maybe it was, I don't know whoever it was behind me. I couldn't really tell. But, and then they were like, but he gave it all up for this.
Yeah.
I'm like, to see that transition and see that dedication. Look, I mean, you could go up, down, sideways in any asset class. There's no doubt. Like you can still buy bad deals in storage. You can buy bad commercial deals. You can buy bad office buildings, whatever. But the biggest thing for us is a scalability, right? Like I can't scale the residential the way that we wanted to. And it took a while to realize that. And, and now it's time to go, put up or shut up, So I think it's time to, make that hard decision and figure out, have we decided what to do with the lots? No, not right now. I mean, really to decompress that hasn't happened yet, but there will be some action.
Well, here's the thing for masterminds, it takes several days. And like these guys that are running quarterly masterminds and they're meeting up every quarter. It's like, dude, how do you even process the information in such a fast time? I mean, you've been a part of something.
Well, that was so we just finished our mastermind related to private lenders and hard money lenders from across the country. And I surveyed them and I got all the surveys back. And like, I talked to one guy and he wanted to meet up multiple times a year. And I'm like, that's like brain damage. Like, let's go, let's completely be transparent, open, but then let's, get an action plan in place and implement it. And then we'll meet up and we'll hold each other accountable and stuff like that. I like the 2 a year. I think the 2 a year plus like actionable items and maybe like mini groups that people hold.
Well, I feel like you can't
accountability. That's what's next on it.
But also different people are in different places of their business. Like, the ones that, I mean, here's the thing. The guys that are down here, compared to the guys that are up here, they can have the biggest strides and they need it very, very quickly. But like with a lot of our business or a lot of us in life, like if we're here, like just to get a little bit more is a huge win. Those guys can double their businesses and triple their business, can triple their business and hire a staff. Like we're trying, a lot of this is just do better at execution and implementation and things like that. So everyone's in a different place. And that's why I think this is hard in general, because like you can't please everybody.
But what was amazing on this whole thing? Everybody in that room, without exception, was
contributed.
Very easy to talk to, whether they had 20 facilities or 50 properties or one. They wanted to share. They wanted to be open. And that's what I loved about it. I mean, it's like you're a sponge.
Yeah.
Except for when he said about my being old and
no, that was
before
it
nursing.
Oh yeah, sponge bed.
That was before it started.
He said, "Was the food as good as in your
at the
nursing home as
home,
this?"
so you didn't hear it.
But and here's the thing: like a lot of these groups typically cost a real amount of money because number one, I'm a firm believer that the more the bigger the check you write, the more you pay attention. Right. Like for instance, and I heard this analogy once and I liked it. And we were talking about Yeezy shoes on the way up here.
Yeah.
Like if somebody, and you even said this, you go, hey, if I bought a pair of Yeezy shoes, like, I don't even know if I'd wear them because like, I want to take care of them. But what happens if I gifted you a pair of Yeezy shoes? You wouldn't take it as seriously. You'd be like, I don't give a crap. I'll go mow my lawn in these things. And that's how it is with a lot of things. The more you spend, the more you pay, the more you pay attention. Right. I think that was the quote that I heard. And it's like, hey, like, I'm going to take this serious. Like if a group or event like that was like $50 and it's like, the barrier entry is very low, you get a little bit out of it.
I really think it's not only pay attention, but the more you spend, the more you're going to execute.
Yeah, because the more you're serious,
the key. You can listen.
It's all psychological. All these people are capable of doing it.
Yeah, whole new ball game.
Everyone's capable of doing this. It's just like the time you write the check and you're like, you know what, this cost me whatever. I'm ready to go. Like I'm in. I'm gonna take this serious.
Yeah.
Do you guys was the majority of the room? I know a lot of people in that room, and I know not all of them own a storage facility. But do you think the majority of those people were attracted to this because they thought it was storage focused?
No, I
No.
think commercial. I think, and you guys correct me wrong as attendees, but I believe growth and scale, because that's what I got a lot back in the feedback forums leading up to this. And there's like, okay, well, how are we going to craft this event so it's beneficial for everyone? I think it's just growth and scale in general, because like, and we're going to talk a lot about this tomorrow, is like growing and scaling a business of like what it takes and what it means to you and your family and true legacy wealth and truly being able to help others. We donated $2,000 today to help start a foundation for one of the firewomen that were killed in the line of duty last year. But I was telling the guys, it's like, yeah, I love that everybody donated, but in the same sense, I love just to stroke the check and not even thinking about it, because like we're that far along, right? Like, and those are the things that like I think a lot of people are attracted to, the growth and scale, not only from a personal ego, monetary side, not ego, not in a bad way. It's just, do people want to grow, right? I mean, dude, senior, how old? Like, well, we know you're not a day over 21, but come on, tell the audience. Like,
73.
Dude, this man's 73. Still, dude, he's still
Way older.
But dude, think about this. 73, and he's the first, he's in the door like, yo, dude, I'm ready to learn. I'm like, yo, fuck, dude. Like, I hope it's 73. I'm like that. Like, still wanting to learn and grow. Like that. I think that's what the event's about. It's about growth and scale and growing as a person, as a human being.
All levels, all stages. Everyone. As soon as you stop learning, you die. Like,
that's how I feel about it.
I think you need to have an intentional mindset. Like, you have to go in there and be intent. Like, you walk in here and Farling did a little exercise in the beginning, and and I think that was a good way to kind of set your mind on not only what you're looking to get out of it, but also what you can bring to it. So I think that there's a lot of benefit in shaping your mind the second you walk through the door. Like, yeah, you paid money to walk in the door. Now it's like, all right, now it's time to be intentional about what I'm looking to get out of this and go after it. Like, be aggressive about, like, you want to talk to that guy and pick his brain, like Jack. I mean, you know what I mean? The guy owns 800 rentals and whatever. And if that's your thing, and like, go up and talk to him. Like, don't be like, just go after it. Get after it.
You guys are presumably competitors. And last night at the Caps game, you guys sat there and talked business, right? Because there's competition, but then there's also like rising tides go together, right?
There's
it's
synergies as well.
Yeah, 100%. And when they're doing X number of dollars of potential loans, it's like, all right, well, what do you guys see? We're seeing, and like you guys get to share in each other's experiences. So
for some reason, it's kind of like people are more open and more transparent than any other time and place, right? Like, if you just called someone randomly, that maybe was even from this group, but you didn't know, you didn't have a relationship. As soon as you get into that group, it's kind of like a family.
Yeah.
Well, I think everybody takes their guard down.
It was.
I don't know why it comes like that.
Well, but I think it's because there's a central hub, and not again. I mean, I don't even want to say, but because of Ian. I mean, I don't think his damn head's gonna fit their door when we go.
Credit,
dude. It's like, but in all honesty, though, like, people know that like the guy that organized this is a genuine dude. He's not going to put a bunch of assholes in the same, in a room, and that's going to stab you in the back as soon as you turn around. And that third party testimonial almost goes a long way to be like, all right, if Ian trusts, I trust him. Like, it's
and you've been in
I'm good. I'll let my guard
where,
down, and
where it is the wrong people, and you feel like,
you feel uncomfortable. It's like, or you feel like you're going to be judged or whatever. Like, if I really say something right.
This, like,
right.
Well, I'll tell you, that was
very slimy.
That was one of the biggest like brain or whatever, like mental sucks for me in my mastermind group, and Ian and I have shared a lot about this. And it's kind of like, I want to provide as much. I was anxious. Like, I want to provide as much value as possible. And I'm looking around the room and I'm like, if this guy got enough value, like, I'm scared. Like I want him.
I know. I found myself asking everyone today, because
like, how is it? And most of the time they're always good, but like, you want to provide your A game as much value. And that sucks the energy out of you, man.
And I mean, I've beaten this quote to death now, because it's the second or third time you've heard it. We utilized it in your room. Is, dude, A players just want to be with A players, and B players want to be with C players. And literally, like, everybody in that room today is an A player, and they are trying to grow their business, and they're willing to help the other A players.
They're all equals.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like,
that's it. Yep.
Because the guy that potentially has 100 properties can learn from the guy has one, because he has something that can help this guy, and vice versa.
And even across different asset classes, like, business principles are business principles. Like the oh God, was it Steve? Was that the last guy today?
Yeah, Steve.
Steve got up there and talked about general business financial principles, right? Like whether you're running Johnson and Johnson or you're running a storage asset or whatever.
Single family property for yourself. It does not
it doesn't
matter.
Like there are certain fundamentals that play across everything, and I think that there's, so you got guys out there that are talking generalities that can play across, whatever business or whatever asset class you're in and things like that. And I think that that's that's beneficial.
When we did ours, we did this thing called brag, ask, share. So you start by a brag of like, hey, this is who I am. Like, this is my superpower. Like, this is what I'm really good at. The extra. Then it's an ask. Be like, hey, all you guys can help me with this particular stuff. And then it's a share. Like, provide value to the team of something. Like something that throw it out there.
Maybe you ought to talk to Ian so he does good things like
Yeah.
that. I mean,
I learned a lot.
Well, I don't have to brag. Jimmy's bragging for me. I just sit here. No, but
that check better clear.
I think cash only.
You want royalties?
Right?
Cash only. Boy.
But yeah, no, dude, it's like you got to set the room up right for people to be able to be comfortable and to have the right topics. And I want to make sure we cover all the speakers. I mean, Megan and Rick. Megan specifically, I mean, I think she killed it on creating systems. It wound up going down a hiring thing, but in the end, it was like you need to systemize this stuff and have a home base for effing everything. Otherwise, you're a mess. And what was crazy was what Jack talked about. Goddamn, boy. What Jack talked about, to what Megan talked about, to what Steve talked about, organization, continuity, and all the business practices start to relate. And look, we're entrepreneurs. Can we get it 100% right? We try, but we're not. Like, it happens. Things slip through the cracks. You might have all your stuff organized for new builds, but you go do a new build in self-storage, and you might be like, oh, dude, fuck. Like, and everything just goes out the window, right? Yeah. It's like, well, Mike Tyson, as he said, or Ali, everybody got a plan until you get punched in the goddamn face, right? Like, it's real simple.
That happens to everybody, and it's already happened to all of us, and it's going to continue to happen.
Yep. Oh, yeah, every one of us get punched in the face with something else before it's all said and done. There's no doubt.
So who were all the speakers today? I know Jack,
Megan from Atomic Storage, and Steve Lawler.
Is she local?
No, she flew up from Chattanooga. Her and her business partner flew up from Chattanooga.
They weren't there last night, though, were they?
No, they flew in this morning, and then actually they wound up having an emergency on a site,
it was
and they
funny.
flew right back out. They literally came in. They were here for like 6 hours to speak and rolled out the door.
It was funny because I didn't know she was a vendor, and I thought she was buying storage facilities, and she kept on going. And we have another one here and another one here, and like it's like, I'm going. We got to talk to her because she's buying all these facilities.
Yeah.
No, she brought a lot of value. There's no doubt. She was a great speaker. So I feel like some of the value that she brought.
Manager.
Oh, they manage.
They're a third-party manager, yeah. I feel like when Terry started talking, they had a lot of good input on that as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, as far I don't think they were trying to sell their services to him or anything like that. I feel like it was, and the one thing that I liked what she said was, your vendor, whatever they might be, whatever, even if it's a third-party manager or whatever, should have the same feel as an employee, should have the same feel as a business partner, a friend, or whatever. Like, you pick up that phone, you shouldn't feel like you're a number. Oh, Ian Horwitz. Oh, that's customer number 247,
right?
Calling in.
And that's what we were discussing is like, the vendor should understand your core values, right? Yes. Like, and if our core values is product ownership, and we see something on a site, we expect it to be cleaned up. I know it might go against your profit line numbers. I don't give a shit. I want that thing cleaned up, and I understand that ding on my P&L because I want it squared away, right? And that's what we were talking about, and it was an interesting conversation. I agree. They helped keep the conversation flowing in the next session, and that was actually last time. Like, Jason and Chris hung out the whole time, and they were inputting into the thing. And like, to me, that's a vote of like what the group is for the vendors to sit there and hang out and discuss
and have
be a part of the group.
Too.
Yes, 100%.
Like, I mean, and we've known each other forever. But for you and Chris at the last one to kind of pull back the curtains and be like, yo, this is how we do what we do. And this is what we do. And, and break that down. I mean, if somebody, that's tremendous value because, look, I mean, you guys offer a service, right? Money, right? But people are going to go out there and they're going to find private money or they're going to do whatever and things like that. But you don't have a scarcity mentality. And I feel like that's the majority of the room doesn't have a scarcity mentality. Otherwise, why the hell would you talk to Jack last night? right? Why would you want to know what Jack's doing or what he's got or
We're
what
allies. We're
he's
not
asking what you
competition.
absolutely.
Right.
But see, that's
Jack
the
helped. Jack, I think we both provided value to each other 15 years ago.
oh,
when
you
we
guys
started
still
and he
provide
grabbed-
value to each other. Last night, I guarantee Jack went out there going, man, I always like talking to Jason. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, so not to have but that's the mindset of the room. And if you're in the wrong room and that mindset is not prevalent, you're not going to get the same value out of that.
You know what's funny? I remember somebody in your group last time. They stuck out like a sore thumb because they just asked. Like, what did you hear? What do you do here? What do you do here? What do you hear? Instead of sharing, right? And listen, ask for help, share, ask, help. It doesn't matter if you own anything or everything. You can learn from everybody. And I think if you have
100%.
that, because you know who those people are, you know who the bottom feeders are.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, you don't want to do anything with them.
Take.
But like, listen, everybody owns storage. A lot of people own storage in that room.
Yeah.
No, like, guess what? A good storage facility for me might not be good for you, and vice versa.
We literally discussed that.
Yeah, capital investor for me might not be a capital investor for you. Like, that's just what it is. Like, I think that's one really common misconception of like there was a guy in my mastermind that was like, he's very secretive about a lot of the stuff, not about his business, but about like his clientele and stuff. He doesn't want his clientele to overlap and things like that. Cause they're like, well, I don't want other people to steal me. Like, I don't want to be on social because then someone else is going to steal my business. And it's like, no, they're not. Yeah. Like, guess what? If someone goes to my competitor and we have the same terms, they provide a better service than I did.
I mean, your capital investors are literally, some of your capital investors are on our platform through you, and they get emails from me, but none of them reach out directly to me. We have zero relationship. That's like, oh yeah, sure, they might get money from this investment, but it's through you that they've decided to invest
in your next deal. Like,
because it's the relationship is with you.
100%.
But that's what I mean.
And vice versa.
Absolutely,
like the same thing.
But they wouldn't be in that deal if it wasn't for this relationship, right? So I mean,
and that goes with I think that goes with everything.
I do want to say, I have to give a massive shout out to Ryan Tucker. This event would not happen without him. Every time I try to plan it myself, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Ryan does a great job.
Just give it to me, dude." Ravage Deli for lunch today. We got to ruin the surprise for those that are watching. We got a Mexican food truck coming tomorrow, taco truck coming tomorrow. We're going to do dinner tonight. He helped me get the bus to go down to the game. Right, like without Ryan, this event doesn't happen. But for like our team members to want to be a part of this event, that creates growth inside of our company. Like Ryan was in the room the whole time, and we pulled our pants down. Like, hey guys, like this is where me and Ryan and Dan struggle with on the growth side of things, and having those discussions in real time and sharing with people. Like, look, nothing makes me just because I put this event together doesn't mean I don't have problems, dude.
Yeah, like in on a conversation and was bearing his soul right there.
Ryan,
I thought that was awesome too.
What's that?
Everyone has issues. Everyone has issues.
No doubt.
No doubt.
But I mean,
and everyone's in a different spot in their business.
Exactly.
But it's cool to see.
You couldn't tell it from in the room. I'll guarantee you. Nobody felt better than anybody.
Exactly, because they weren't. They're all equals. They're just in different spots.
And everybody goes through different seasons.
Yeah, I know.
You got your peaks and you got your valleys.
Yeah. I think about it like reading books. Like if you've ever read a book multiple times, every time you get something different out of it. Yes. Like you weren't ready. And like I had someone that would be like, "Hey, I've been telling you this for years." Be like, "I wasn't ready for it then."
Yeah, right.
Now I'm ready for it.
That's comic books. Yeah. Okay, that counts.
Read comic books
and reread them so you can catch all the stuff in them.
I'll tell you what. When I was at the firehouse, we used to have a girly magazine collection. Animal. That was the best reading material known to man. I mean, like I understood what was going on. That's about it. That's all I get.
I do. Pictures worth 1,000 words. So there you go.
But dude, audiobooks.
How many videos?
Videos is a whole other.
How many videos?
Your OnlyFans page is probably blowing up right now.
Ben was telling us this is his OnlyFans, so I'm a little nervous right now. I'm like, well, when do I gotta get naked?
Sure what's gonna happen?
I sell my feet.
Right. Keep those shoes on.
No, dude. Actually, I'm kind of glad we sat down to like discuss this and debrief because like I'm over here organizing the event. I'm talking to John. John Farling's been helping again. Yeah, also, I want to give a shout out to John Farling. This event doesn't happen without him either.
Don't leave anybody out.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm mentally having some problems, but without John Farling, this event doesn't even happen because he's like, dude, we need to do something, right? Like, so those two guys right there, but I'm like, I'm working through them. Like, yo, dude, is this working? Is it not working? I don't know. But to sit here and talk to you and hear in real time, real feedback, like, I'm glad that this is the right room because I believe it is. And it's always hard because like people are taking a lot of information. So a lot of guards kind of go up and people are processing and not that guards go up, but it's like when they're processing, it's hard to have focus and like read the room to be like, all right, are they getting it? Or are they confused? Like, where are they? You know, but I guess the information's coming off correctly and people are understanding
Well, the
it.
first thing out of his mouth when we got in the truck to leave, he goes, "Holy shit, that was like drinking from a fire hose."
Yeah.
Yep, it was.
Like, because I mean, but that's a good
good
thing. Yeah, but
stuff.
it's a good thing, right?
But that
So
was a lot of stuff then. Like,
it's a lot of. I mean, it's a lot of good
and
stuff.
a lot of
yeah,
good people that you talked to on the breaks that wanted to talk to you, that wanted to share. That you ask a question, they're not holding back.
and even like the people that are quiet in the room, like, and you're like, I wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, like they're just absorbing stuff. You're there's waiting
a
for
sponge,
processing
right.
things, and then every once in a while they'll come in and be like, oh wow, like we had a guy that didn't say anything at our event, or very rare, and then we found out about his business, and I was like, Jesus,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us this
Yeah.
earlier?
Could you speak up next
Yeah,
time? Because like
right.
that's why you're here.
Like
so.
you're a killer.
But either way, we got to go run to dinner at Sammy's. Jimmy, I appreciate you coming
I do
here.
like to eat, so
Belden, you here?
Man, now the whole world knows where we're going.
Yeah. Come on, come
yeah, it
visit
might
us.
be some paparazzi.
Yeah,
shit
watch
going
out.
on,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's good and ugly.
So,
Hey,
Elvis
Pete, you
is
want
in the building?
Pete, you want to be on a podcast?
Hey, wait, real quick. What's in for tomorrow for all the people that
Oh,
you know,
tomorrow.
are unfortunately not going to be there?
Mexican
But
food.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the food
we
truck?
got the taco truck coming by.
What about tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night we are working on.
An
We might
undisclosed
be
location?
we might be
Yeah.
switching it up and doing a bonfire instead of going to a
Top
bar.
secret.
But we do have Scott Hannes, who we interviewed last week on the podcast.
Is he here now?
Yep, he's here. He'll be at dinner
Oh, sweet.
from Tim Brotz's team.
Good for him.
Fortitude HR, discussing a lot about org charts, kind of fitting into what like Megan and Rick were talking about today. Great synergies. And then Bob Rajewski, our underwriter, he's coming to speak tomorrow, and he's going to discuss about underwriting in the current market conditions.
Yeah, I'm really.
Because I think you asked that question earlier,
I did.
and I was like, all right, well, this is gonna be great for Bob to come here
That's
tomorrow
exactly
and
what we
discuss
talked
this.
about,
And then we got some interesting mastermind topics set up to discuss in the group session, and see where the day goes. So we're pumped. Check out Equity Warehouse for pictures, or look up hashtag LFG Mastermind. Guys are tagging the event left and right. And other than that, man, Jay, I appreciate you guys. Jimmy, I appreciate you dragging Jay's ass up here, and I'm glad we did this podcast.
And I tried to drive
now.
I was
myself.
taking him home.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Jimmy forced me to go.
here's
With him.
the-
I
Cheers.
tried to
Cheers.
drive
Equity
myself, but it's good that we
Cheers.
didn't.
Cheers.
Hey, I appreciate you guys coming on as well.
No
That
problem.
boys.
I'm glad
Thank
you guys
you.
were able
Pete,
to,
we love
to
you.
be part of it.
There you go, man.
Pete, you want to show your face before we
Hurry up,
we
Do
call
it
it quits?
close up.
Yeah.
Just put it right
Yeah.
in front of the camera, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Right there, right there, right there. There he
There's
is.
Pete Belden.
Just another pretty face.
He's
Yeah.
tons.
Well, if you quit your W-2, you could join us. Just say.
You're the one that needs to be in that room, buddy. Let's
Yeah.
go.
We'll get him to the bar. We'll work on him tonight.
I hope you enjoyed
Alright.
this episode, and tune in soon. Maybe we'll do another recap of day 2. Until next time, see you guys later.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast. Do us a favor and like, comment, and share our broadcast. It helps the algorithm and helps us spread the word too. Till next time, thank you for tuning in.